All right. Insert catchphrase here. I don't have all the YouTubers have catchphrases. I don't have a catchphrase. I'm using insert catchphrase here. Let's talk about Knoxcraft Turtles 3D. This is for students who would like to write Java code using the BlueJ editor and have that code create wonderful three-dimensional structures using Minecraft. There's also an instructor's guide that's available through our website. I'll show you a link to that in a moment. So here's the outline of topics that we'd like to cover, and let's jump right into it. So first, the Knoxcraft Turtle site, which has a whole lot more information, documentation, FAQ, downloads. We've got the link here. Go ahead and click that. It'll open it right up. We've got downloads, we've got FAQ, the instructor side of the documentation, student documentation for writing Java code or for Python code, our JSON API, and then here's the Javadoc and PyDoc. We'll come back to this Javadoc link in a moment. Okay, now connecting to the server. Either you're going to be running the server yourself, in which case if it's on your laptop or your current computer, the address of the server will just be localhost, or if you've started on another computer, you just need to know the name of that computer or its IP address. If you want to use your instructor's centralized server that's shared for the whole class, assuming that there is one, you'll need to get the address or the URL, as address is an internet speaker known, from your instructor. Let's show what it looks like if we connect. I've got Minecraft fired up. Go here to multiplayer. I need to add a server. You can name it whatever you want, and my server is running on my laptop, so I'm going to call it localhost. And there it is. Let's connect. Dun 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 dun. You can see we've connected. And what do we see? Well, there's a whole bunch of junk by spawn. Somebody built a bunch of buildings that didn't quite look right and then didn't clean up after themselves. Okay, full disclosure, that somebody was me. Couple of notes. You'll note you can't break blocks. You can punch them, they don't break, even though you're in creative mode, because if you note, you can fly. You also can't place blocks. Now, why is this? Why can't you break or place blocks? It's Minecraft. Well, the goal here is not to play Minecraft, but to write programs that build awesome things using Minecraft. If you really want to play Minecraft, just play Minecraft. If you really want to learn to program, though, then we're restricting it so that you can only place blocks by writing the corresponding code. Excellent. So now let's talk about the code. So there's a couple ways to get code to start with. There's a generic BlueJ project that's already configured and ready to go. You can download from the Knoxcraft site. If you want to submit your code from that to your server, your instructor server, there is a file you need to edit. We'll talk about that in a bit. Or your instructor may just provide you with a pre-configured BlueJ project. Either way, somehow you're going to get a zip file which you're going to download. There's some notes here to be careful on Windows. Let me show you what I mean. Here's my zip file that has my project in it. On a Mac, if I double-click it, it's very simple. It unzips or decompresses it, and I get a folder. On Windows, if I double-click it, typically what it does is it opens the file without unzipping it, lets me see inside it, and sometimes even lets you launch BlueJ from a zip file, but then it won't work right. Very annoying. So on Windows, make sure you right-click and then go down to decompress or extract or something like that. On a Mac, it's no problem. I can just double-click. So I've got this. Two ways you can open things. I can either go here. Now everything's still open. I can either go here and do, file open or project open in BlueJ, or I can sort of go into the folder and double-click this little package icon. Either way, it's going to pop open this project. Now, you'll have one or more files in here. Here I happen to have two. This is the simple starter program. You can see it doesn't really do very much. And this is a cube, which is the program that we're going to demo. Now I've got some slides that'll kind of walk you through and highlight some of the important parts here. So this is that cube program, which is a little bit more sophisticated. And as you can see, up at the top we have our imports. There's really only three classes that you need. There's Turtle 3D, there's block type, which gives you access to a whole bunch of different types of blocks, and then direction, if you want to set your heading to one of the cardinal directions, north, northeast, east, southeast, and so on. Now this is how we're creating a turtle. It's sort of like a constructor, but it's a special function or static method. It's called the static factory method is the technical term. There's some technical reasons why we had to do it this way rather than using a constructor. It's not worth going into detail here, but if you're interested, I don't know, send me an email and I'll explain all the gory details. And then finally, here's all of the code. We're taking this turtle that we just created and we're invoking these different methods on it. Set block, place, set block, you know, we're using block type, things like that. And then there's some stuff in here that's just sort of regular Java, some for loops. So all of those methods on the turtle, there's Javadoc for all of them. And I want to definitely show you all of the different block types. So let me demo the Javadoc. If we go back to our Knoxcraft site, right here, this Javadoc API, if we click that, this will pop open. This is just a standard Javadoc file. You can see we've got only the 3 classes that we've seen. There's also Turtle 3D base. That's just there for people that don't want to use main, that want to use inheritance. That's really just for instructors who want to use a slightly different programming model. But they both work exactly the same. They have the same functionality, so on and so forth. So let's open up Turtle 3D. We click this. This is giving us all the documentation for this. And so we really only care about the instance methods, but again, there's only the one static method, which is the static factory. I'll go ahead and click instance methods to get rid of it. So you can see your basic movement methods, backwards, down, forwards, and then all the way down here at the bottom up. You can turn left and right. Now you can give degrees. I can say turn left 44 degrees, but that'll actually turn me 0 degrees because it's going to round down to the nearest increment of 45. So everything up to 44 is 0, everything from 45 to 89 is 45, everything from 90 to 134 is going to round down to 90, and so on. So you want to just focus on increments of 45 degrees. You can also set your position, giving X, Y, and Z coordinates. Let's see what else. Finally, setting block types. So if you happen to know the integer code or the string code for a block, you can use that. Don't use that, though. Just use the block type. This is a class. As you can see, we've got block type. It's got tons of these static variables. They're basically constants for every possible type of block supported by this Minecraft server, which is Canary mod. So you can see some of these things are deprecated. So Birchwood Stair, that's no longer the preferred way to write it. It should now be Birchwood Stairs. Birch wood has been replaced by birch planks, so that's not confused with, you know, birch logs and things like that. Deprecated things will still work, but it's generally not a good idea to use them. And so they're just in there for legacy purposes in case there was a bunch of code that did it the old way. And one other thing here, there are some methods that are marked no need for students to call this method. If you're a student, you don't need to call that method. It's not going to help you achieve your goals in any way. And finally, set direction uses this direction class. It's kind of similar to the block type. It's a bunch of constants, but direction only has really 9 constants, the 8 cardinal directions and error. There's no useful reason to set your direction to error. I'm pretty sure that'll just do the wrong thing. But the other directions you can go ahead and use. So that is the basic documentation there. Okay, so once we've written code, we need to be able to upload it to the server so that we can go ahead and invoke it on the server. So let me kind of walk through what that would look like. First, we need to figure out where we're submitting. So if we look inside this BlueJ project, you can see we've got this special file here called submissions.defs. This is actually telling us where to upload. I'm going to go ahead and open this with, none of those are what I want to open it with. I actually want to open it with Sublime, and I happen to already have it open in here. Let me just put this file back to the way it was initially. And so you can see we've got some configuration stuff in here. This just tells us I want you to upload all of the .java files, and this transport is saying this is the address we're uploading to. You'll have to get this from your instructor if you're uploading to your instructor server. It'll probably just be whatever the address of the Minecraft server is with :8888 after the end of it, but they could theoretically put it in a different location. And just walking through this, KCT upload, Knoxcraft Turtles upload, that's the service that we want to do on the server, basically telling the server, listen, I want to upload some code. The language is Java. The client is BlueJ, because we're uploading from BlueJ. And then player name, this just pops up a window and says, hey, what is your Minecraft username? You type it in, it takes what you typed in, and it sends that to the server. So let's go ahead and demo what this is going to look like here with our cube. Now to submit, we go up here to Tools, we go down to Submit. This will pop up. It should say Knoxcraft. Knoxcraft should match what's there. It does. We click Submit. What is your Minecraft username? I am, of course, SpackDog. So we type that in, and you can see tried to upload sample.java, cube.java. They both worked, and 2 Turtles programs uploaded correctly. Fantastic. Jump back over here to Minecraft. Let's go ahead and try to execute that cube program. So I'm facing in this direction. Let's make sure that the cube program got uploaded. If we do ls, it lists all your programs. You can see I actually have a bunch of programs. For some reason I was using random French names. I don't really know why, but I was. But you can see cube is also there. So to invoke, we use in, our shortcut for invoke. You could type out the word invoke if you want, but I'm lazy, so I'll just use in. And cube, bam! Look at that. A gigantic 12 by 12 cube of blue wool. Is it hollow in the inside? I actually, I know it's not because the code says it's not, but I can't even verify this because I can't break these blocks. So I've gone ahead and built this giant wool cube. Now maybe I don't like this wool cube. If I hit slash to bring up my command line, I can say undo, and it'll undo the last structure I built. Well, what if I build another cube? And then maybe I'll put one here. Invoke cube. Oh my gosh, there's 2 cubes. Maybe I don't want either of them. You can actually undo multiple things. You can see, and once you've undone everything, if you try to undo again, no more scripts to undo. That's the major stuff as far as executing scripts that you've written. If you execute a script and it does something that you don't like or does the wrong thing, you can go ahead and undo it and try again. As you can see over here from this big disaster of stuff, it took me a little while to get the hang of this, and we also had bugs in our implementation that we had to work out, so you can see I've got just a mess of stuff over there. Now, one other really interesting thing you can do, you can actually be facing sort of at a 45-degree angle and then invoke your script, and it will actually run. Look at that. You get this like really interesting shape, and if we fly up here, you'll see we actually have gaps in here. It's just really cool. The students, Emily and Michael, actually discovered this on their own. It didn't even occur to me that that might be a thing that you could do. That's actually really cool, I think. So that's what we've got there. Now, every time you submit, you know it's going to come and prompt you for your Minecraft username. That's really annoying. So if it's your code and your BlueJ and it's on your machine or your laptop or in your home drive, nobody else has access to it. There's no reason for this to keep prompting you. So what you can do is actually / comments out, copy paste this line, or just go ahead and modify it. And where we've got this little command here that tells BlueJ submission system to pop up a window, you can just hard code in your Minecraft username. We'll go ahead and save that. Now if we go over here to BlueJ again, if we hit submit, it still prompts us. Because remember, this little submitter window loaded the old file. So we'll close that. Tools, submit again. This is the new submit window. And now if we hit submit, bam. We don't even have to type in our username. Everything's good to go. Now I can go back in here and maybe, maybe 12 is too big. I want to make this, I don't know, 5 or 6. So I put that in. Now, if I want to check my syntax here, I can always go ahead and hit compile, and it'll compile everything. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to check that the syntax is correct. So you're going to get, if I leave out a semicolon and try to compile it, I'm using Control-C to compile, or I can just use the button. You'll see we're getting the same sorts of error messages that you would expect to get. Now we come back over here. We're going to submit. It's uploaded. Go back in here to Minecraft, and we'll invoke cube. Ha-ha! Look at that. Now we've got a 6 by 6 cube instead of that enormous 12 by 12 cube that we had before. Excellent. Okay, what else do we have? You might actually want to upload, for whatever reason, your Java code not through BlueJ. Maybe you're using a different editor, you're using Eclipse, or you're just old school using a text editor. Whatever place you have, wherever BlueJ is listening for submissions, you can actually just go ahead and click this link if you're running locally. That's not working at all. There we go. Or whatever your instructor tells you is the submission location with KCT upload on the end of it. This will bring up this little web form. You can actually paste your source code in here, or you can browse for the file and go ahead and upload your code that way, and then just stick your player name in, set it to Java, and click upload. And it'll do basically the same thing as the BlueJ uploads. And so there you have it. That is the basics of how to use Knoxcraft turtles. Thank you very much for listening. Insert catchphrase here.